Hello, my name is Damien, and today I'm going to show you how I remove the background from product images that I use on Amazon or other marketplaces. There are a number of ways to do this. I have used GIMP in the past, which works, but it has some issues, so it's not my favorite method, but it works. I've also used Photoshop, which works better than GIMP, but it costs money, and so I was trying to look for a free method of doing this. I've used some Android apps that would remove the background as you take the image, but it doesn't work very well. So I haven't ever used that on final images. There are also batch methods because I've got a whole lot of images that I could do at once, and I've looked into doing batch methods before, which show some promise, but the only way I can find to do that costs a few $100s for the software to do that, so I was trying to avoid that as well. But what I find to work pretty well is just using the native software on Windows. Even just a year ago I had a lot more problems with doing that than I do now, but Windows has made some improvements in Paint 3D especially that allows me to do it pretty easily now. So I just wanted to go through the process and show you how to do it and show myself in case I ever take a hiatus and need to come back and remember how to do it again. So let's go through the process. So here are all the images I have that I've taken and have stored in this folder. My Nikon camera, it's kind of an older camera. The raw image that it saves is in the form of a NEF file. Other cam images might be RAW. But those are the uncompressed versions, and the problem with Paint 3D is that it doesn't import those images, at least not .nef files, naturally. You have to convert it to a PNG or something first. So, but fortunately the way Windows does this, well, first of all, let me get it can handle JPEGs, but these are compressed, and I'd rather not work with those to start if I've got an uncompressed version. And actually, I don't know if you can see this, but let me show you the difference between the NEF and the JPEG. So I don't know if you can see that, probably not this close, but let's zoom in a little bit. There is actually a little bit of a difference if you look, but I don't know if you'll be able to see this on this video because it's compressed too. But anyway, there are some differences, and I'd rather use the uncompressed version as the source. So let's start. Let's work on the 7. I'm opening it up first of all on Snip and Sketch, but I don't want to use Snip and Sketch to do the editing. But fortunately, from here, with these 3 little dots, you go to Open With, and you can choose Paint 3D. And when you do this, it automatically converts it to a PNG. And so here we go. We have the PNG in Paint 3D, and now we can start doing some editing. So here's Magic Select. This is how this is what we use to kind of crop out the background. There's lots of tutorials for how this works, but essentially just crop that. And in my case, I want both the ruler and the number. So we'll do that in 2 steps. But here you can see that it missed this little section, so I'm gonna hit the remove here, and I can zoom in on that, and that's good enough, I think. So let's skip to the next part. So let me just show you that if I go to the canvas, and I turn the canvas off, you can see that this is now floating off the canvas. And so I can turn the canvas on and off. And now with the canvas selected, I do the magic select again, use the tool to crop just the ruler, and hit next. And the ruler is really close, the color of the ruler is really close to the background, so I have issues with it sometimes. And so, but I want this little circle cut out roughly. Yeah, it's good enough. It's not perfect. I could try and get it better if I wanted to, but what I need, that's good enough. So go to done. And now they're both floating. And so if I go to the canvas and turn the canvas off, you can see that they're both floating. Now at this point, the next step is to frame it. But the weird thing is you go to save, which is not intuitive, and you go to image, and here you turn the transparency off, and then so you're in this one frame where you can save it from here, but we need to frame it first. So let's adjust the angle and framing. And here this is, you can choose whatever aspect ratio you want. 1:1 is what typically Amazon uses and a lot of marketplaces might use. So I choose that right now. And then to pan around, you hold the Alt key down, and then with your mouse you drag and drop or drag it around. It's important, it's imperative that you use this Alt key all the time to pan, because if you don't hold the Alt key down, it moves around like this. It changes the 3D angle. But the problem with this is that there's no way to reset that angle that I know of. There might be a way somehow, but if I use Control Z, as a undo, for example, it doesn't reset it. So the only way, you can try and get it close, but it's never going to be exact. So I always, if I forget to hold the Alt key down and I move it a little bit, I always just cancel out of here. It takes me back to this saved window, and then I go back into it. I have to select the 1:1, and then here we are. So it's not that bad, but okay. And then zooming, on the other hand, is with the mouse wheel, but it jumps. So like it goes from 33 to 50 in one quick jump. It would be nice if it could have more degrees of change within that, and it might be different for your mouse, but that's what I'm finding. But fortunately we can just click on this down here and type in a number, so like 45, and then click somewhere and it enters. And then I pan to see if that fits. It's too big, so let's try 44. It's still too big. 43. Okay, that should be good. Let me just scoot this over a little bit. Oops. And I think that looks good. Okay, so then I hit OK over there just a second ago, and now we're back to this window, the save window. And remember, we had already hit transparency. We could put that back if we want, but I want it transparent. I wanted to save it as a PNG. And now we just hit save, and we name it. In this case, I want it 7. Save. And so now it's saved. And then typically I just exit out of this. You can either save it or not. In my case, it's such a simple thing. I don't want to save all the garbage of what we did on my computer as a Paint 3D file, so I don't save. Then I also close the snip and sketch image, and it takes us back to here. And then here's where I had saved it. And so you can see the final image. And we can zoom in, I think. Oh, no, that's just... Okay, but that's it. And actually, if I was going to do this in real time, it goes a little bit faster. In fact, I'll just do it real quick so you can see what it looks like in real time. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. I have two YouTube channels, both of which contain essentially the same content. One contains the longer versions of my videos, which you're watching now. The other contains shorter 1-minute versions. So if you'd prefer to subscribe to the channel with the shorter 1-minute versions, I'll include a link to that in the description below. Or you can click on the short version of this video, which should appear in a box right about here, and that will take you to that channel where you can subscribe from there. And if you enjoyed the content of this video, please hit the like button right about here. And that's it. Thank you for watching.